All right, guys, we'll jump into it. My name is Rachel. I'm your host. You guys know me. You know this guy over here.
I'm Griffin.
We're on All Our Problems podcast, sponsored by Arnold's Candies. We've got a really awesome guest today. I'm excited about all of our guests. I say it every time. I'm really excited about today's guest, but I really am excited to have Caleb on today. We've known him for years. Griffin longer than me. I kind of just like married Griffin. It kind of came along with it. So
Caleb came along with the marriage.
But yeah, so I'm really excited to jump into today's episode. You guys are going to love this one, and I'll hand it off to Caleb. Tell us about yourself.
My name is Caleb Young. I'm a fourth generation grain farmer with Young Family Farms. I help manage some of the operation alongside my dad and my other family members that are inside the office doing the day-to-day.
You guys really are like a family operation, which is rare these days, I feel like.
We currently have no employees outside the family.
Love that for you guys.
Oh, that's fun.
Your
We-
HR department must be
Oh,
great.
yeah, we are.
There is no HR. I don't know if you know that.
We kind of
family.
need one for family
Yeah.
dynamic, though.
Maybe a therapist on call or
I was
something.
saying, I don't know if you've how much time you spent with the Young family. The filters, they'll figure it out.
Non-existent.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I think I've spent enough time with Caleb to get a picture. But I'm excited to have you on. Like, I feel like farmers are not as easily accessible these days. Like, there's small farms, but you guys kind of are like I feel like you're a bigger scale on farming. you know?
I would consider us a
Pretty decent
mid-level
size.
mid-level farm operation.
Do you feel like there's a lot of your size farms out there, or do you feel like it's more of a dying thing? Because I feel like it's a dying thing, but I don't know anything about your industry. So
It seems to be there's getting more farms our size,
more people are trying.
because the smaller farms aren't sustaining as well.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of and then the big farms, they're obviously doing
They're
better.
industrialized
Yeah,
probably
well,
more.
There's a lot of big family operations, and
That's
still in the
nice.
U.S. I mean, there's a couple here in Central Ohio that are huge.
Yeah. Would you be
Um,
able to name them? You don't want to?
I don't mind. They're
Okay.
friends of ours.
I don't mind.
Nice Farms over in
Mhm.
Gallion, Shelby area.
That's cool.
Schroeder's.
Oh, yeah. I know Schroeder's. Yeah.
There's those are two really big farms just in our local area. We don't compete with each other. They go west. We stay more around our area and
Yeah,
heading a
more
little yeah, a
local.
little more east now. But for the most part, there's some big farms that are still family owned and family ran.
That's really awesome.
So
I mean,
yeah.
I find it super fascinating because I just love animals and farming and all that stuff. Griffey and
Oh,
I, you're
yeah.
gonna love this. Griffey and
Right.
I want to look into getting some land and do like hobby farming.
Hobby
like,
farming.
yeah. And I'm gonna be calling
I
you
can
all the
I can get you
time.
I can get you some beef cattle.
See, look at that.
See, we already
Your
got the
dreams
hookup.
already
We've got a
started.
cow.
Yep.
There you go.
Might be I'll hook you up with some hogs too.
That's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, that's always been something that we recently have been really into because I like more whole foods.
Yep.
And like the fast foods, man, are just like so gross to me these days. And
Ultra
it's got to be
processed,
kind of
man.
nice being a farmer. You guys get the best of the best.
Yeah, we also live on fast food during our busy season
Yeah,
too.
I'm
so,
sure.
yeah.
Oh, your schedule is like insane. Like
Certain
just from
times of
talking to
year.
Abby is
Yeah.
like
Certain
That's
times of
wild.
the year it's rough.
Yeah,
So.
because you had a baby and you really missed out a little bit, I think.
Yeah, so Lainey was born in October, I believe.
Yeah. And you're
No.
just working like almost constantly during harvest season.
Oh
So
yeah, so like I mean we went to the hospital. I was coming home to help take care of cattle and we were in the fields. Abby was the day that we had Lainey, I came home that night, did cattle chores, and then I went back over to stay the night with her.
hmm
Next morning, I left again, and I ran the combine all day, and then rode the Harley home. I was riding the Harley back and forth because it was a lot more fun than the Yukon.
Right. Why not?
Jumped back in the Yukon, went back, picked her up,
That's crazy.
and we came home, and it was right back to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
it's
it's
been
like
like that with all
constant.
3 kids though. So it's
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
it's
was
not just
gonna
one.
say
Yeah,
it's
it's
basically
all-
like all of them.
yeah, it's our first one. It was I came home, dropping off the hospital, said I'll be back tonight.
Oh my gosh. That's gotta be hard because like I know Griffey, he like loves Grayson. And
Yeah.
so like that time is just so valuable. But
Mhm.
also it's probably like good for your kids to see it, like the work ethic, what it takes to be a farmer. Like you've
Yeah.
got to love what you do probably.
I think they miss out on a lot though.
Yeah.
And that's partially my fault. I mean, I prioritize working and
Being a
hunting
farmer and yeah.
you know,
Lifestyle, you know?
yeah. But like the past year, I think I've really tried to
Mm-hmm.
spend more time with them.
I feel
Clayton's getting to
like
that age that he sees everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I feel like you've also like you've brought them with you to work and
Yeah.
stuff. Like I remember you guys having piglets and your kids seeing them and stuff. So it's stuff
Yeah.
like that I think they'll probably hold on to that a lot more. Like the
Yeah.
value of that is probably so cool.
Yeah, I mean, Clayton was a few days old when he was in the first time in a tractor.
Mm-hmm.
Clayton, he's what is he? He's 5, so he's starting to get to like he'll have his days where he wants to go to work with us. Or,
Yeah.
he wants to.
He's in the mood for some hard work.
Yeah, and then he has his days where he's like, yeah, that's work. I'm
He
not
goes,
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll
going
be
to sit
on the
right
couch
here.
at
I'm going to
home.
watch
Yeah.
TV all day.
Yeah.
I'll play
So-
You have
all
fun,
day.
Dad.
He has his moments.
Yeah.
But
Is that how it is like kind of with you growing up though too? Since I mean like it's generational, so it's
Yeah.
probably similar.
I mean, I had to help, and I didn't have to do I mean, when I was in high school, I started doing more and more helping.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the field, stuff like that.
I remember summers where Caleb would be like, hey, he'd call me be like, I'll give you cash today if you come out here and help me bale this hay. And I'm like, all right, bro, I'll be there.
You
I'm
did
like-
help unload hay a few times.
I was like, you know what? Whatever I need to do, but I'll help you out.
I feel
Yeah.
like there was also a time where like we happened to be down there. I don't know if we were living together yet or
Yeah, I think
not,
we live in Akron.
but like Caleb called you up and there was like a machine stuck or something, or maybe we were coming to hang
I
out
think
with
you guys was coming
guys
down to hang
Yeah,
out
just
that
to
night.
see
coming
you
down.
guys, and like
Yeah.
you were like, I got this thing stuck or something.
Need some help.
I'm pretty sure that was a close call getting that unstuck too.
I
Well,
remember you being like that was sketchy.
I was almost late this morning because we had a semi stuck on the ice, and it was like, so
No
I was like
way.
down there salting, trying to get the ice melted away so we could get the semi out.
And you're like, I got this podcast I gotta get to.
I was
Great.
like, well, yeah, it was at someone else's farm. We were hauling their corn for him, and he was like, I'll have
Oh.
it loaded in 5 minutes if you just want to take it. And I'm like, I gotta go. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I got it, Jay.
You're capable of driving it back to the farm. Your
Yeah.
pickup's there
Yeah,
anyways. Like,
get it.
Yeah.
Just do your thing. Yeah. That's so awesome though. Like that's gotta be so much fun, and
yeah. It has its days. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Like any business.
you're
Yeah.
out working in 3-degree weather. So I mean,
It was the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday really was days you didn't want to get out of bed. but-
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even want to get out of bed on a regular day. Griffey can't stand it. I love to sleep in. I
Yeah,
love to
I'm the
sleep.
best.
in.
I have a hard time waking up.
I'm
but
up
Oh,
at
I have
4
a
in the
hard time
morning.
going to sleep too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Well, I'm up at 4 in the morning, and Rachel's like 7:30. She's like, I'm so tired. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, must be nice.
Yeah. I mean, even nights where I'm not working late, it's 1, 2 o'clock before I can fall asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I'm,
like-
I'm saying, like, especially since having a kid, I'm like, I
Well,
could
yeah,
function
that's-
off an hour. So
Mhm.
I'm like, do I want to
And
stay
any sleep
up?
schedule
and
you
do this
have
all night?
after 1, let alone 3, you're no
Yeah,
longer have a sleep schedule.
That 3-kid life.
It's fun.
What's the adjustment like from like 1 to 2 versus 2 to 3? Because I feel like I hear a lot of different.
Honestly,
opinions.
I mean, that would be a better question for Abby.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um,
That's fair.
But for me, I mean, there wasn't really much of an
Yeah.
adjustment for me.
I feel like once you know it once,
Yeah.
the first one probably rocks you a little bit. Like,
the first one was different, and then Olivia was pretty easygoing
Yeah.
as a baby. She's not so easygoing now. She's got her mama's attitude. But
Say it all the time
it's
about
gotta be
Grayson.
the boys. They're like rambunctious. Like
Oh,
they try to just kill themselves within the first few years of
The
their
other- the other
lives.
day-
You're
the
just
other
but
trying
they're
to keep
rubber,
them
so
alive.
they're rubber.
Yes,
Dude,
some
he
of the
falls all-
hits I've
Grayson
seen
falls all the
Grayson take,
time.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, is this an emergency room? He just gets up and he's like, on to the next thing, and I'm like,
The other day we were
"Ow."
in the kitchen. I looked at Grayson. I was like, "Who's the dramatic one, buddy?" He goes, "Mama." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
immediately.
you already know.
I was like, what?
You already know, bud.
Yeah.
Well, that
Oh man.
Clayton's first hospital visit was he got a toy tractor stuck on his thumb, and they had to take it to the hospital and cut it off because it like started swelling inside.
No
Yep.
way.
Yep.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so-
goodness.
I think he was 1. So
Oh, knock on wood.
yeah,
That is just, oh no.
don't get the toy tractors with the open station cab.
You gotta get the
No,
closed
no, no.
ones.
Yeah, get the ones that
Yeah.
are closed up. Yeah.
Grace has got this tractor and it's like you can take it apart.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time I've put it back together, he gets just the bucket off the back
Yep.
and just carries the bucket. And he's
It's
like,
like his favorite
box,
toy.
box. And
Wait
I'm
till
like,
the
why?
Legos start. When you really
Oh.
stuff really starts tearing apart. Wait till Legos starts.
Yeah, we've got the big blocks that you can put
Yep.
together
The
and
mega
stuff.
blocks,
And
yeah.
oh my gosh, he just wants to chuck them. He's in
Yeah.
this throwing stage.
No, from the time you could pick something up, it's been like, how hard can I throw it at you?
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like, you got a future, kid.
you
Yeah.
taught him that though, because Griff was like, I'm going to throw balls at you.
Mhm.
And he'll hit him in the head or the face, which sounds mean, but they're really soft and rubber. And like Grayson
laughs,
thinks
tries
it's
to catch 'em.
hilarious.
Yep.
And I kept telling Griffin, you're going to regret that because he's going to start aiming it at us. And the kid's got an arm on him. Like he's a tank of a child.
Oh, yeah.
He's huge. So then Griffin will be like, oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. And then all of a sudden he starts taking things that aren't nice, soft rubber balls and chucking them at our heads. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to knock you out like a remote coming at you like 50 miles per hour. Terrifying. Toddler strength is unreal. Let me tell you.
But, so talk a little bit about, fourth generation farmers.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like-
yeah, I mean, technically it's 4 generations. Started out small dairy operation, and then my grandfather started farming too, and he was running a plaster business on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually retired from plastering. He was farming when I was a kid. I think my dad and grandfather farmed around 1,500 2,000 acres, somewhere in there.
That's wild.
And then when my dad started farming in like the hog industry,
Yeah.
with my uncle at the time, and they were raising hogs and everything, and breeding sows and piglets and everything. And they the hog market crashed. Dad got out of that, but Dad has really taken the farm and really
Yeah.
taken off with it.
I feel like
even
it's
from like
yeah,
high
amazing
school,
these
like
days.
I know middle school, high school, when we first met and started hanging out, it's grown so
Tenfold, yeah.
significantly from
Yeah.
then to where you guys are now.
Even from
and
when
like
I've
seeing
known you
and seeing like
guys,
how
yeah.
you've gotten more involved and
I
know,
love it. I love
yeah,
seeing, what
seeing how you
you
like in
and-
high
and
school when you
Abby
started
do
getting involved and
online.
then afterwards you're like, I'm just doing this full time, and then it's just been
It's
hit the ground sprinting, not even running, like it's just full
Yeah.
sprinting.
well,
Yeah.
and then like we went from just being a grain operation when we was in high school,
Mhm.
to right after we graduated. Me and Abby were dating or engaged, maybe.
Mhm.
My dad put up the first contract hog barn. Still the only hog barn he owns, but put up
Mhm.
a contract hog barn, and to get kind of supplement some income and keep that going. Well, then since then, my brother-in-law Wyatt has put up his own hog barn with Horde Livestock.
Yeah, I've seen
So
that
he's
one.
got his own now. My brother-in-law's Wyatt's dad owns a hog barn through Horde Livestock that Wyatt manages. So we're managing 3 hog barns,
That's awesome.
That's
or Wyatt is. And
That's got to
then-
be a headache too.
And yeah, I'd say from knowing, like, I knew Wyatt.
Talk about unpredictable, man.
Yeah.
See, I think I first met Wyatt when I was like middle school, and we went to church together.
Yep.
And then like I remember like him and your sister started dating, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then it was like just seeing him then start transitioning into Young Family Farms, how much he's taking
Yep.
on. Like I just love seeing you guys' family operation and people who are coming into your family through marriage or as children being born.
Yeah.
So like how you guys
Yeah.
have turned this into like
A real true family farm.
Yeah.
Like I love it. I love
Well,
and
to
how
see
and like
it.
how accessible it is. Like I think the big thing about farmers people, the thing that people say is like, oh, I'd buy it, but I don't know how to get a hold of them. I'm like, it's not.
Yeah, you guys.
I can
you
list
guys
you
make it
3 or
easy,
4
I
right
feel
now, and like
yeah.
you can do all you gotta do is message on Facebook. Hey, here's what I'm interested in. And if they can't do it, they'll point you to somebody who they know, trust, and
Yep.
locally sourced that they can get you there.
So that's something that, like, with this this other entity with the feed mill, that was kind of what sparked the beef to start growing the beef. We
Mhm.
had all of our byproduct from our corn, from grinding corn down to a powder for dairy farms to mix in with their feed. we had all
Yeah.
the fines, the byproducts, stuff like the cob, anything
Yeah,
that
start
anything that
building
made it
up.
through the combine and through the elevator to the mill
Yeah.
was cleaned out of it before it gets ground. So everything went into a container, and we were like, okay, we got to either one,
Use it.
it's a good feed option.
Mm-hmm.
We're already buying the corn from somebody else through our elevator. Now, we need to start using this byproduct. So then we started buying the cattle, and we're supplementing, we're adding that into our corn or our feed mix, so that we're not using so much cracked corn in our feed mix for our beef cattle.
That's awesome.
So that's something that, it sparked that. Well, then the beef, we got carried away with it, and we went from, hey, we're going to have, 100 head to 400 head. And it was,
Yeah.
then it was like, okay, now we got to sell this beef. Like, you can't just
just
Can't
raise
just keep
400
buying
cattle.
animals.
you can't just raise them and let them be pets. So
Right.
you gotta,
Like there's a lot of
400
upkeep
pets.
here that we got to start making some of our money
Yeah.
back from
yeah.
this.
So that's kind of where Abby stepped in, and she's exploded that. I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's the part that really interested me was your guys' beef side, because we buy from Duma Meats. I really like Dumas, but now that we live in Jackson Township and we're
Yep.
like closer to you guys, I'm gonna be calling you guys up for those beef runs, because I love to buy direct. Like
Yeah.
you can tell a difference
yeah.
in
Oh,
quality. Like actually,
Absolutely.
I love Dumas. This is not any hate to Dumas, but like when I had your guys' beef, I was like, oh my gosh, like I think it was the ground beef or something. I used it for something, and I literally the whole time I was cooking, I was like, this beef is unreal. Like Griff, this beef is insane. And he's like, we get it, Rach. Like chill out. I was a big fan of it though.
the amount of people that come back in, because like we sell right out of our office too, we're
Right.
licensed
Yeah.
and everything. The amount of people that'll come in, they'll be like, hey, I just want to try it.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll buy, 5-10 pounds, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're back in 3 days. And they're like, that's phenomenal. And it's
Yeah.
like,
You can tell a difference
Well,
in quality 100%.
And that's one thing that we always push is like it's always quality over quantity. Like we would rather just give you the best product that we can give you
Mm-hmm.
than sell more,
mhm.
and then people aren't
Yeah.
happy with it, or
We
they
tell
can
our
feel like they can
cooks
find
that
better. I'm like,
all
I
the
don't care about
Yeah.
if we get behind on production like that because a couple batches are not up to our quality standards. That's okay.
Don't
because
just
I'd
push it out the door.
Yeah, I'd
just
rather
to
make
get it
I'd
done.
rather
Let's do it
remake
right.
this and eat that cost to make sure that our customer is getting the best product.
Mhm.
As much as we want to be as efficient and make as much as we can in a day, sometimes you're gonna be like, okay, this didn't turn out the exact way we
Mhm.
want it to be. I don't want this to be our, because at the end of the day, that's your name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Arnold's Candies
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that's our name. That's
I
our
take
brand.
it so personally if
It-
something's up with the candy. Like
Yep.
I always sometimes there's a big thing where the original Arnold's, they had long big sheets of very very thin peanut brittle. Well, we have some larger distributors that we sell to now, and by the time you put it on a pallet and you ship it to them, it's all just scrap to them. Like it's
Yep.
all just so broken apart.
Yeah.
So they don't really want it as thin
So
as
they want
that.
a little thicker, but other customers
Yeah,
want thinner.
and
so we could
sometimes
be like
we'll
a
get
fine
those
mix.
Yeah.
customers. They're like 80 years old, and they know the old Arnold's peanut brittle, and they're like, it's too thick and stuff. And I'm like, I get that. Sometimes we do try to make it nice and thin and
Yeah.
perfect for the retail store. So if you want it, buy it from us. But
That's so.
but buy
polite.
from all of our customers too. They do great. But so like if we're sending to a distributor and we just happen to pull a box from a distributor's, that's almost always what happens. I'll get one of them where they're like, it's not the same. And I'm like, everything about it is the same. We
Yep.
have not changed a single
Same
thing.
ingredients, the same taste, the same process.
Yeah.
I even
For
buy the same
72
sugar
years.
that we've been buying forever.
Really?
Forever. Yeah. I mean, you just can't sacrifice on quality, you
Yeah.
know? It's your
Yep.
name. And like that also comes back to your price. Like people will come back for quality over the cheapest every day. Every day.
We're learning that with our feed mill side.
Mhm.
We had a customer, and I'm not going to say any names, but we had a dairy farm customer that basically told Dad when he was in the meeting that we were just way overpriced.
Mm-hmm.
That he was getting the same. He said he was getting the same product for X amount cheaper.
For way less. Yeah.
Well,
I hear that all the
yeah,
time.
and our argument was, well, like, okay, we can promise you it's this,
Mm-hmm.
and we will gain you this. And so like they started running some numbers, and they're like, if their product is this and it gains us this much in revenue per cow.
Yeah.
Well, that's real numbers.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what sold the deal to pick up that large client that day, and we only actually ended up picking up one of his 3 farms.
That's
But that's
crazy.
to us, that's if we can gain, and my dad's better at this than I am because he's found a new love with this feed mill.
That's like his semi-retirement project of I'm trying to get
yeah.
away from the data operations. This feed is what I'm doing
Does a
full
farmer
time.
ever really retire?
No,
That's what I'm saying,
he'll no,
semi-retirement.
no,
Knowing Gary, he will never retire. I mean,
no.
he never stops moving. He's always doing something.
Yeah, I mean, there's his wheels never stop turning. A lot of times we have to tell him to turn his phone off.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we had a similar customer. And I love all my customers. I have amazing customers. Like, this is no hate to any customer I have, but they need a really competitive price on a certain product, and that's the hardest thing, is just explaining to them, like, if
Yeah.
you want the cheapest, I'm not going to be the guy for you.
Yeah.
I don't have a million machines that are going to just make this all day, every
We still
day,
have
24/7.
All our stuff still like
Yeah, I still have
handmade.
cooks.
Yeah.
I'm teaching them the craft. Like, if you want candy where your customers are like, wow, this is amazing, this is quality, I love this flavor, or I love the texture, or anything like that, like, we'll be your guys. We'll get you the customers back. If you just want somebody who's going to manufacture like the industrial manufacturing style and just make you a bajillion pounds,
shove it out the door.
yeah, and I might not be the best fit
I'm
for
like, and
you.
obviously,
I'll
we'll
do
be
my
as
best to be
competitive,
both,
We'll
but
be as competitive on price as we can possibly be, and
Yeah.
try to win your business.
but you got to
like,
make it make sense for business too.
Yep.
You know, we're a business just as much as everybody else.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what we found is and it's just like the candy. I mean with our feed mill and even our beef. We're sticking with one niche that we know. Hey, we're doing it really well here.
Yeah, and let it naturally grow from there.
Yeah, and
the product speaks for itself.
Yeah, that feed mill has exploded. I mean, we went from being up and running February 1 of 23.
Mm-hmm.
In our first year, in our first couple months, we tripled what we had originally planned on doing.
That's amazing. That's so awesome.
Yeah,
I
mean,
love that for you guys.
the original goal was to do. Dad's original goal was to do a load a day, so 5 load a week of ground corn. And I think within our first month or 2 months, we was doing, basically 3 load a day, 4 load a day. Like, we tripled it right off the rip.
That's awesome.
Well, it was great until it was not great when there's so many other
Growing
moving parts.
pains.
Yeah, I mean, you got
We feel
equipment that
that,
needs upgraded.
You
You've
have the
got
trucks running,
operating lines.
yeah.
That
If you're
need
running that much,
higher.
then your machines are running that much. And
Yeah.
if you're running your machines that much, that means more maintenance, more
Yep.
breakdowns, more problems.
Especially,
like,
like
we
during
feel
harvest.
that.
I know those phone calls that we have. We're talking for like an hour, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm driving out to Indiana to grab this part, turn around, and drive back, so I have a mechanic come fix it in the morning." I'm like, "Yeah, man, we've been
You'll do
running for
anything to get your line running.
we
When
run for
it's
3
down,
days straight,
that's
and this machine
money
just broke
going
down,
out.
and that's like my moneymaker right now. So that's just what I'm doing all night, trying to get this thing back up and running.
Yep.
Get it fixed at midnight, be right back in at 4 a.m. to get fired right back up and do it all over again.
And when you got a combine that's broke down sitting in the field and not moving,
Not making money,
That's
not-
a chunk of
it's-
money that
Well,
you're
and
losing.
it's just time. I mean, and
Yeah.
at the end of the day, time is money. Like, if you're not getting what you need done in a timely manner and you're pushing that back in 2-3 days, that's
That could
an
change
issue.
everything,
Yeah, that's an
especially
issue.
when you're
Especially
kinda-
with weather.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're kind of at the basis of like Mother Nature, and that's got to be like extreme risk too. Is like,
Can be.
yeah, I
Can be.
mean, when was it? It was like this recent last year. We drive past Ashland and
Yep.
Worcester now, going towards his mom's, and we were driving down there, and I saw all the farms underwater, like the flooding and stuff, and Griff couldn't stand it because every time we passed a lake or a stream, I'd be like, "Look how high up it is!
I'm
Look
like,
at
"Yeah,
the
Rachel,
water
it just rained
levels."
for a week straight."
Yeah.
Even Nicole's laughing
nonstop.
because I did it like probably 100 times in the car with
Yeah,
her too, all the
it's-
time. And I literally thought of you guys because I know your guys' farm was like right around
Oh
there,
yeah.
and I was like, I wonder if they were going through the same thing of the flooding and stuff. That's
we
crazy.
luckily for us, I mean, we were pretty well wrapped up at that point. But there's a lot of farms in our area that weren't wrapped up at that point.
Yeah. And you probably lose like product
You lose, yeah, you
going
will.
underwater like that.
Yeah, you will. You'll lose grain. You can.
Mm-hmm.
We struggled. Our big concern of ours when, like for soybeans, because soybeans will draw moisture
Mm-hmm.
even as they're sitting out in the field. Corn won't. So like it doesn't. If it rains and corn's still standing,
It'll just
Right.
sit
yeah.
there.
But
Okay.
beans, the actual bean itself, will still draw moisture. Well, when we were in September and October, we were cutting beans at 8-9% moisture.
Mm-hmm.
That obviously you don't want that. You want them in that 12-13. Well,
Mm.
our concern was that bean was going to draw so much moisture, and the pod was so dry. We were worried them cracking open and splitting and falling out of the pod
Oh
and
yeah.
having yield loss that way.
Getting empty pods. I'm
Yeah.
sure customers
So
love that.
there's so many things that can happen.
Yeah.
And especially in this year, we got like that first snow in that
Yeah.
first week of November.
Yep.
And it's like you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm hoping the snow pushes off. It's like I think I should be done by next Thursday. Like I run these days, I should have maybe have like a half a field left by that point. But we run, all this. I'm like, you know what? More power to you, bud. It's like,
Yeah.
I remember the one day.
I hope
one
you-
day we were talking. I'm like, I should be done by Thanksgiving, and then Thanksgiving hit, and you're like, you're done. I'm like, no.
you're like, no, maybe that second week of December.
Yeah. Like at this point, Christmas. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how
Next
we feel with
February, I
busy
don't-
season.
can't
I'm
tell ya.
like, it'll end after the holidays. Then we're like knee deep in orders and after the holidays. And I'm just like, what is happening?
Oh,
like,
man.
it's a blessing. Like, we really love being busy. So I'm definitely not complaining about that. But part of me, sometimes I'm like, man, if I could just like have a breather, like
Yeah.
just a breather in those like.
But then when you
busy,
get the
busy
breather, you're
times.
like.
Oh,
You're
then you're like,
nervous.
I
you're like,
can't
it's just never
handle
coming
it.
back. Like,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
This is where
I'll
it all
never
ends.
get another purchase order.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
that's
but like
terrifying.
it gives you that sense of peace. Like, hey, we're busy, and that's good.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I'll
like-
work hard all day if I know that I can pay all my employees and take care of them, their families. Like, that's what I want. I want to be able to offer them overtime. I want to be able to do all that. I'm sure sometimes they rather it be a breather because they get a paycheck either
mean,
way,
Yeah.
Speaking of employees, man, I know you said you guys right now are just
all
family.
family.
Yeah.
Talk to me about some of those, like whatever you can about when it comes to employees, like struggles you've had, successes you've had. Like, I mean, anytime you're hiring people, that comes with an inherent risk. Bringing somebody on, especially what you guys do, that's such a learned thing as well, because you can't be like, we're not doing the same thing every day. Like today we're doing hogs, tomorrow we're doing cattle, then we're gonna be out of the
Yeah,
field,
that
then we're gonna do
training
trucks.
on that has to be rough.
It's
'cause-
on this. It's during the day training.
Yeah. You're like, basically just be near me and listen when I shout at you.
Yeah, honestly, like it's honestly easier in our industry sometimes to hire someone with no experience than it is with
we
experience.
feel the exact same way.
Because,
I mean,
because
nobody
you're not
knows how to make
breaking, you're
candy.
not
You're
Yeah.
not
breaking
breaking
habits.
habits. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
So that for us, like right now, we have a job listing on Indeed for a full-time truck driver.
If you guys need a job.
There you go.
Yeah,
And but, like-
Work
I
with
might
this
know
guy.
a buddy. If I was like, I think he wants to get a CDL, but it's like he's just trying to get a place that will help him get a CDL. And
Yeah.
he'll-
Well,
he'll
that's, I
drive.
mean, so we had an employee that we had a deal, lined up with him, that part of his bonus was we were going to send it. Now you have to go to a CDL school.
Yeah.
But we would pay for it. We would send him to a CDL school, and he ended up leaving before that we got to that point.
Yeah.
Um,
How long you got to be working there before you're willing to? I'm purely just asking.
we're at the point we'd probably send
Well,
someone
right
to
away.
CDL school right away.
You're like,
Oh,
go
really?
get your
If
You
they
CDL, please.
like,
somebody,
if
yeah.
we had somebody come and say, "Hey, I want to drive truck. I don't want to farm. I just want to drive truck."
Just
Yeah.
drive. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy driving. I want to learn
Griff
how
is
to drive
like,
truck.
sign me up.
No, it's not about to be like,
He's
hey,
like,
you
"I'll
know
do
what?
it."
You guys want to take that listing.
Yeah,
down.
you don't
We'll
need
talk.
me at Andy's
We'll
no
talk.
more.
Yep, you got it. It's all you.
Because I swear, like, he works on the line and stuff, but like, I swear he gets bored. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
swear Griffey's he needs hobbies or something. I mean,
That's
he
how I am
has
in a
hobbies,
truck, though.
but
Like I
Oh.
hate driving truck. I don't like dealing with the idiots on the roads.
yeah, I'm the
but-
same way. I don't want to be in a car at all.
No, and a semi's worse. You got so much. It's like riding a motorcycle. You have
Gotta
so
be
much you're
anxiety.
watching,
Oh, yeah.
and it's not as enjoyable as a motorcycle.
Griffey's
so.
like-
Not even close. Not
don't wanna
even
say-
close.
I don't want to say you're like a grandma driver, but you're like a, I don't know, casual driver.
Well, here's the
He's
thing.
like
You
he's
learn-
the follow
cautious. He's
the-
cautious.
Well, I think like when
Yeah,
you
I
have
guess.
motorcycle, if you have ever driven a motorcycle, you ride,
Yeah.
you learn to be that cautious defensive driver.
Yeah, because you probably see
because
the worst.
there's so
Always
much
watching
inherent risk.
100 feet out
You
in
never
front
know
of
if
you,
something's
yeah.
flying at you, where it's coming from, cars that they're doing, if they're on their phone, they go left to center.
Wildlife.
Wildlife. I mean, if you think about in a car, you hit a bird, you're like, ooh, that's. I hope it doesn't crack my windshield. You hit a bird, you're hitting pavement.
Yeah,
at
you're hitting
you
60 mile an
have-
hour.
Not
Yeah.
to interrupt, you have to tell Caleb the story about the bird in the truck with you and Andrew that
Oh,
day. You have to hear this. When he called me immediately afterwards, I was like not prepared for what he was gonna tell
Oh,
me.
so me and my buddy Andrew, we were going to like a concert out at Blossom, and he picked me up,
Just vibing.
Yeah,
good
you know,
vibes that day.
and he was like, whatever, we'll have the windows down, just pull off like where I used to live.
Mhm.
We're going down the road.
Not even
and
30 seconds.
Seriously, not even a half a mile away. Like roll down the window, like just got in the truck, roll down the window. It's a hot day, and this bird, we're going like 35. Bird flies through. The window's cracked maybe this much. The bird goes through. I duck. It hits the back of his window in his truck so hard it kills the bird. We had to pull over on the side where these guys are doing the brakes of the car, and then like find something like an old sweatshirt and like wrap up the bird and toss it in someone's yard and then get back in the truck and drive away. What are you gonna do? You're not gonna leave a dead bird in the truck.
Uh-huh.
I feel like
There's
Caleb would have
dead-
just
there's dead
barehanded
birds
it.
in my truck all the time.
Yeah,
so.
Caleb would have just barehanded it, I think.
Yeah, but
Just yanked it
inside of it,
out.
I was like, he's like, what was that? I was like, dude,
He calls
I
me
almost
in
got
a
killed by a
panic.
bird.
Yeah, he's like, I legitimately almost died from this bird.
But all I could think about was like that bird hits you in the face, that beak to your eye, it's either
Oh.
killing you or you're blinded. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
You're blind.
oh, absolutely. It's
Oh, I was on the bike one day here this summer, and I was singing. You know, I was jamming out,
Yeah.
having a good old time. Had the radio blaring, and I had like, you know, I got a short windshield on my street glide, and like I'm just my mouth's open. I'm singing out B
right.
right
Oh, that's
through,
the worst.
hit me
dude.
in the back of the throat, and I thought it killed me.
You're trying not to drive a bike. You're coughing. You're,
Yeah, I'm like trying not to lay it over, and I'm like, I can't breathe. I can't do nothing. And it honestly
No
felt like
way.
it went clear through my throat. Like it hit me so
through the
hard.
back.
Yeah.
In the back.
No way.
Oh,
that's
it
unreal.
hurts so bad.
I've been hit in the face with like a bug on a bike before and stuff, but like I
Oh.
usually keep my mouth closed.
I was jamming. I was going down 30. I must have been doing
On one of them high
65,
notes,
70.
you
Oh,
just-
I was just getting it. I think I was singing Jelly Roll, and it just hit me.
Best day of
And
your
it-
life until
Oh
it
yeah,
wasn't.
I was on my way to church. I was meeting Abby. Had already went to church because she works in the mornings with the kids,
Mhm.
and I'm like, it's perfect for me. I can take care
Yeah.
of cattle in the morning and jump on the bike and go
Yeah.
to church.
Mhm.
And yeah,
That's
I thought it killed me.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought that was it. He's like, just say a prayer as you go down.
Yeah, but back on like the employee thing, like it's yeah,
Yeah, the
Tangent.
whole
It's-
conversation we were talking about, right?
And tangent.
it's fun.
It's my least favorite part of the job. I'll be
Oh
honest.
yeah. Well,
And
like
it's nothing
managing
to-
people is
I
not
love
fun.
my employees.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
not-
my
it's
team
nothing
right now.
against,
It's the
like,
people who
the-
are not my employees that I have to interview that
Yeah.
I'm like,
Or like, I think I've said this on a couple different podcasts. I know we've talked about it. Last year, I think we went to 30 to 40 temps or people just to find somebody to fill a
Man.
position. Like you would hire
the
hire somebody.
workforce
the
in
day
the
of,
last
they would
year,
leave.
I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
felt it, but
that's finding a
quality employee.
finding
is
a good employee that
rough.
you trust.
Mhm.
That's a big thing too.
Who can
Um,
cut it?
Yes,
That's the other part of it is like you have somebody who comes in the interview and they sell themselves and you're like so excited.
you feel like
Don't
you won
even
the
show up
lottery.
to their first day.
Well, yeah,
I'm
but
like-
but when you do find an employee, it feels like you won the lottery.
Absolutely.
I
and you
mean-
want to hold on to them. Like
And
I
that's
love
the hard.
the guys.
That is the hardest part.
Because they get a
about-
little bit of experience,
Yes.
and then you're like, "Hey, I'm getting offered
yeah.
$5 more
All
an
those
hour
bigger
over here."
farms can
I'm
afford
like,
to get more. Yeah.
I get
So-
it. Like I'd make the same decision, but also like I can't.
But I do think there's a part of like working for a small business. That's what kept me at the candy company for so long was like when you work for a small
A family
business,
or
a
a family.
family owned
Yeah.
business,
Yeah.
they get it. Like
Mhm.
when my employees have stuff going on with their families, like I don't even question it. I'm like, that's what life is important
Mhm.
around and everything. And like when you think about life in your life, when you're thinking back, you're not gonna be thinking about your daily job at the candy
Yeah.
company. You know, I mean, it's probably something cool where you could tell your kids, I used to make peppermints all day, but
Yeah.
at the same time, like people are really driven by money and
Oh,
it's really
yeah.
easy to just go and get more, especially during COVID. That was rough
Well,
for sure.
that's also a lasting effect that I feel like is starting to
Hopefully,
righted ship a
resolve
little bit
now.
is like, because like obviously we'll pay you to like so I mean, we'll pay you to be at home.
Yeah.
Like so much in unemployment and stimulus checks that people got used to
Yeah, they just
working
didn't
from
want
home,
to work.
doing those things, and there's still manufacturers, there's still farmers like you who
Yep.
like we didn't stop.
No, yeah,
'Cause
we,
you
we
couldn't
were
stop.
we were essential.
Yeah, you become
Yes.
essential, and we're still working full time.
Manufacturers.
Had to have
were
the had to
too.
have the government tell us we was essential.
Right.
Yeah, gotta keep people
We
fed,
at
right?
that's the moment we learned that we were an essential part of the United States economy. So
Right? Yeah.
If only you got the essential treatment too, like
Ye-
the real, the
Yeah.
good stuff, you know.
I mean, farming has its perks. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's not easy life.
The perks
probably.
are not what everybody thinks they are.
Right.
It's not the subsidies. It's not the
Yeah.
like.
and how
I don't know a farmer out there right now that could tell you the last time they got a check from the government.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what's really hard is like our culture right now is not supporting farmers, like local farms and stuff like that. I love that, but I do feel like it might be changing. I don't know.
I think a lot of it is just misinformation out there. Like for instance, I was on a hunting trip in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
Me and a buddy, we went on a duck hunting trip in Massachusetts, and we were like 45 minutes outside of Boston. Well, we were like, we got done hunting the one night. We're like, let's just go up to Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it was last year when Boston, I forget who they played, but it was like a 7 overtime game or something, and didn't end until like.
Yeah.
3
Oh,
a.m..
Yeah.
But we went to a bar that's connected to the entrance of the TD Garden.
I've been to a couple games there. My uncle lives in outside
It's
of
awesome.
Boston.
Uncle
It's-
Eddie.
Uncle
I wish
Eddie.
we almost
Shout out
went to the
Uncle
game.
Eddie.
Oh, I love you
It's
guys.
I mean
over in Boston.
it's such a great, like it's like a big city but such a small city, and it's
Yeah.
such a everybody's like they're wild.
Oh,
One.
They're
But they're so nice.
They're
Yeah.
so nice. They're so much fun. Their accents, like Griff
Yep.
was like, "You're gonna love their accent,"
like-
and I was like, "Really?" And Aunt Jill, she always goes, "Are you gonna get fresh with me? Don't
She's
get
like,
fresh with me,
"Don't get fresh
Griffin."
with me," and I'm like-
I love it. I'm not even gonna try to do the accent, but like, I love it. It gives me
Well,
life.
Yeah, like we were at this bar, and this lady, like I have a Young Family Farm, just a t-shirt on,
Yeah.
or a sweatshirt. I had a sweatshirt on. And I had this lady walk up, and she's like, me and my friends are trying to figure out what Young Family Farms is. And I'm like, it's a farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a family run corn,
Right.
soybeans, wheat,
Yeah.
livestock farm. She's like, really? Yeah. She's like, I didn't think people still did that anymore. I'm like, whoa. Like, where do you
That's crazy.
think that steak you're eating came from? Like,
yeah.
yeah. But like, I mean, honestly, she was 100% serious. She's like,
No,
I
but
didn't think people still did that anymore.
I
I think
do
so
think like
often,
it's
yeah.
been kind of spread so much how industrialized
Yeah.
farming is. I'm sure it's out there.
Um,
But I
yeah.
think if you look, you will see there's the people out there that have the quality stuff. The eggs I buy, I can't remember what they are, but they have a cute little thing about the eggs and the
Yep.
the hen of the month or something. Like I love them. Like
Yep.
you can tell a difference too
Oh, yeah.
in the quality all day.
Yeah. I mean-
you just have to look for them.
Yep.
Well,
I mean,
when I worked in like ingredient sourcing for like little, in a past life, it was there. Every place that we were doing business with was like convenience.
Yeah.
That's what they were pushing
That's
was,
what was so big.
and
in
that
the world.
was 2018, 2019, and it was
Mhm.
always just nonstop about how can we make it quicker, more accessible, and
Mhm.
convenient.
cheaper.
And then
too.
COVID happened as well, and it became exponentially more accelerated because it was
Yep.
like now convenient. People are at home. How can it be convenient? And
Mhm.
now it's like, I think we're starting to break that little bit of a trend where it's like
Yeah.
sometimes things aren't as just because they're not as convenient doesn't mean they're not as good.
they're not always better.
I think a lot of it is the past, not to get political or anything, but the past several years here,
Mhm.
people really had to start budgeting. I mean, and really figuring
Yeah.
out what they
Yeah.
want to spend their money on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you have to think about it a
Yeah.
little harder. It's not as
Yeah, I mean, it's
free
like
flowing.
I think that, and like right now for us, the beef market is just exploding.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great for us, not so great for the end user because they're paying higher prices.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of this, the past several years has made people say, okay, hey, like this is important to us.
Yeah.
We want to support local, or we want to,
Mm-hmm.
know where our food's coming from, or vice versa.
Yeah.
We'll spend a little bit extra to do that, and that's
Yeah.
been big. I mean, the past 4 years was tough everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
but I think like grocery prices put a big impact on, hey, we're going to
Huge.
learn where we're going to spend our
Huge.
money.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
I think there are definitely companies out there that took advantage of that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I've tried really, really hard to be reasonable in our pricing and for my customers, because at the end of the day, I obviously want to make money, but I want it to be sustainable.
And we
I'm
want
not
our-
going to
and we
just
want our- we
price
want our-
jack it like
yeah,
crazy,
our
and
end
then eventually
customer-
that's going to fall out.
We want our
too.
end customer to also be able to comfortably
enjoy
enjoy
it.
and afford it, and this not be like something
afford
like, oh, this is a one-time treat. It's gonna be something like, this is like
I'm
a
obsessed
local,
with these.
yeah, a
cinnamon
locally
puffs. I'm
sourced,
gonna go buy 10 more
company,
bags.
handmade,
Yeah.
quality that's a reasonable price. Because I mean,
Mhm.
we pride ourselves on, you said, being a family-run company that
Mhm.
we're family owned. We've been around for 72 years. We're
Mhm.
trying to, we have the legacy of Arnold's that we're carrying on, and it's like we want that to be first and foremost. We
Yeah.
want that to, after we're long gone, that's still going.
Yeah. Even though it's not, we're not the Arnolds, even though, it's not necessarily like we didn't start that legacy, but
But they
we
built
do
it,
put a lot
yeah.
of value in the fact that like we get to continue it. It's a 72-year-old brand.
Yeah.
Like that's an honor for us
So
to
like,
carry
do
that
your
on.
employees buy into that?
What do you mean?
Buy into the history of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Our employees are super loyal. Like I love every one of our employees, and they love like that we are really traditional on the
Yeah.
craft of it and how we treat the candy. Like they really don't want to cut corners. The most, like back to what you had said, the most we have to tell them is it's not always about quantity, it's about the quality, because in their eyes they're like, the more I can produce for them the better, which I love that they have that mindset.
Yep.
But sometimes it's like, listen guys, if you're losing a batch, don't just rush and try and do the next one and the next one. Let's pause and say, okay, what happened
what's
to this
happening?
candy in
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
batch for it to grain or something like
And,
that.
and like the thing is, as you know, man, it could be in the same day. It could be the humidity. It could be,
could be
the weather
anything.
outside. Like, and people are like, "Oh, it's raining. Must be a bad day." It's not when it rains. It's before and after it rains.
Yeah, the
The
humidity,
humidity during the rain is
pressure,
fine.
everything
Yeah.
else.
It's
Yeah.
the moisture, and then when
Yeah.
the heat.
we
the
have
heat,
an amazing team.
but it's like it could be extreme heat, extreme cold.
cold.
All
Oh,
that affects
everything.
candy. It could be the powdered sugar we got might be when it was
The way that
milled.
it was processed.
when it was like
the
milled just a
mill
little
is
too fine,
different.
Mhm.
Yeah.
that could be affecting the can. It's like so many different factors that you got to know so many different little
The
caveats
chemistry
to it
of the
that make it
candy
all
is
go.
insane. Like I
Good
never
thing-
thought
good
I
thing
would
I'm
pay that
not-
much attention to the weather.
He's like, I'll stick to farming.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But
Well, there's a lot of chemistry in farming.
Oh,
but,
absolutely.
oh yeah.
A lot of it's like, if you have a question, you like, for instance, I'm terrible at remembering my rates on chemicals. Like if I'm going out and I'm spraying or something,
Mm-hmm.
terrible at remembering that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
3 numbers on my phone. I can my dad
Mm-hmm.
and 2 agronomists. I'm like, hey,
Mhm.
I'm having a brain fart. What am I doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I've got my cheat sheet that's just wrote down in my
Yeah.
sprayer, or in my phone, that I'm like, okay, that's what I need.
That's what I wish we could do a little better on, is like, because it's such a niche
Mhm.
thing, it's all kind of in here
Yeah.
for both of us. And so when our employees are like, I have this problem, how do I solve it? There's no like book to open or
that's-
anything,
You can write
it's
it down,
probably
be
the
like,
same for you guys.
Have you done X, Y, and
You-
Z? Yeah. Well, now we got to go to A, B, and C. What are those? I mean, it depends on what's happening. Like,
Yeah. Like-
Every situation is different unless you lived years doing it.
Yeah.
It's just, you're never gonna
Well, that's
be able to
my
know.
memory is terrible from
Yeah.
concussions and everything else. But Griffin knows a
Wait,
lot
concussions from basketball?
about from
from
everything.
everything.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, how are you getting so many
Wrecking a
concussions?
I was
from
like,
four-wheeler.
I think four-wheeler,
Oh.
the truck.
I forgot who I
just
was talking to
Pickup,
for a second
basketball,
there. Yeah.
soccer, you name it, I had them.
I actually don't think he can have another one.
It's just jelly in there now.
It's my memory's terrible, but like there's stuff that I just remember.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, like, we had an employee there for a while. He was a mechanic,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like we were rebuilding one of the planters at the time, and my dad was like, just let him do it, let him learn it. I'm like, yeah, but the problem is like every torque spec for every seat opener disc, everything is in here.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I can remember that. It's not wrote down here. It's not like I can
Right.
just
You
like
can't give him a pamphlet.
like I can write
or
it
a
all
book.
down for him.
Yeah.
But
It's gonna
then,
be
like-
longer than me just doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I can just literally take 10 minutes and show him what's going on with it.
Yeah.
And someone who he had experience working on tractors and stuff, but not that brand of tractor.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
turned
lot
into a
lot
mess.
larger equipment than what he was even familiar with.
Yeah. It doesn't always translate
No.
across industries. Like when people are like, "Oh, I've been doing production for years." I'm like, "Right, but
Yeah.
not this production. Like it's
Yeah.
so different. It's so unique and
especially
niche.
like
But that's where it's easier to just find someone that
Right.
doesn't know what they're doing and teach 'em.
Exactly, just
Yeah.
and the
teach 'em from base,
seasonality
it's
thing
better.
as well, where obviously you guys are busy all year, but like
Yeah.
harvest season is a much busier time of year.
There's a lot more moving parts.
Exactly, and that's kind of for us. We're busy all year, but like when it comes to our
Third
busy
and fourth
season,
quarter, man.
it's like we have so many more moving parts, so many more POs coming in, and so many more like
There's
products
more
being made. It's
breakdowns.
just
Your
all of that's
machines are
going on, so
running-
you got to be able to like react during that time to be able to shift as quickly as you need to based on what that day entails.
Yeah. So like, who's doing all of your guys' PO orders and stuff like that? Are you guys doing it, or you have someone else doing that?
Nicole, she's our director of operations, so she's been one of the best assets I have because she knows us really well. Like she knows me personally really well, and so when I need somebody who's there and I'm not there to make a call, she's usually like, Rachel would probably lean towards this for these
Yeah.
reasons, but she's great with like our production and management because I had great Arnold's experience,
Yep.
but I didn't have a whole lot of like outside of Arnold's
Management and
production management, stuff like that. And so when she came on, she brought these other additional things where she basically understood, okay, they need a production system, like let me
Mhm.
help them out and like organize that. And so she's been really, really
So
great on
essentially,
stuff
Rachel
like
and
that.
Nicole run it all, and I'm just kind of there
You
for the
just-
show.
yeah,
No,
you're
he's
just-
got parts
you're just
there.
you're just the brute force man.
We
that-
definitely
like, here's
take
what we
on
needed, I'm
more
like,
of the
got it.
office, I would
How's
say,
the,
for sure.
Do you have to like manicure that to get the beard
Beard
net
nets.
over
So
it?
actually, it's not
You
even
have to
beard-
get it
no,
over it.
We get beard nets that
Not-
can
not
fit
even-
over the
Not
beard.
even beard nets, dude. So, like when I trim this down,
Full on.
it's like a
hair
hair
net.
net. You just take a hair net,
Loops
cut
it
out on
around the
your
ears, put the other hair
and
net
then
on
put
top of the
that,
hair. And
That's what you got to do.
it's actually really funny because when Grayson sees him in like
He's like-
cook's uniform, because our uniforms for our cooks they're either all black, like head to toe all
Yeah.
black, or all white. So like one or the other. So he he looks really cool, but like he's head to toe white cotton, and then he's got like hairnet, beard net, and Grayson will see him and be like,
He's like smiling, but he's,
he's
like,
like, I
scared
think
a
you're
little
my
bit.
dad, but
Yeah.
I'm like not sure who you are.
Yeah.
And it's so funny to me every time. And then Grayson's like, oh yeah, that's dad.
Yeah.
But
He puts it
yeah,
together.
one last thing, just kind of before we go, is I wanted to kind of ask about like, obviously when you run a business and you run it with family, you run it with like your wife.
Mm.
How's
Yeah, how's that been for you?
Because obviously we're very
You
familiar
guys
with
we're
know.
it.
married.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Like,
get it.
You know, for us, people are like, oh, must
How do you
know,
guys keep the at home, or do
Yeah.
you blend?
There's not really. So we
I'm
live.
huge on that
You live
boundary.
on
I'm
the
We
crazy
live
about it.
on the home farm, so
Right.
like it's. There's not really, and that was a big thing. Like when we bought that off my mom and dad, the biggest thing is my dad wanted to be able to leave the farm and go home at night.
Yeah,
And he rightfully so. He's lived there his whole life. He's done it his whole life. He
he's
deserved
put
it.
in the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot, like it'll be a Sunday morning and
Talking about work.
well, or something needs done and it's okay, I gotta run out and do that real quick.
Yeah, we
Or-
actually moved 20 minutes
further
away from
for that,
Arnold.
For that
exact
reason.
'cause we
for
live,
Yeah.
that reason
we
because we
lived
live 5
4
minutes
yeah, we
away,
lived
and we would
4
just be
minutes
like,
away.
"Oh, this part needs change. I know I can do it early in the
Yeah.
morning, or I know
or I
that
can go do it
somebody
now when
else
it's 10
can-
o'clock at night.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'll just get it done and then I don't have to worry about it.
Or it's like,
now.
hey, this is
And-
going on. It's like, it's going to be cold tomorrow,
and
so I'm going in
everything
there,
would be
turn
fine,
on
but
all,
then we'd
you
go
know,
anyways.
checking stuff, turn on
Yep.
heat, make sure all the doors are open,
Yeah.
everybody's gone. I'm sitting there just like doing small things, and it's like, all right, we needed to find a time where, like, especially having
Yeah.
Grace, and we're like, we need to find a time where
Mhm.
we have to make an effort to come here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set
Because
more of
that-
a schedule for us too, because it was just like I was working all the time because I could. He was working a lot because he could. And then if an employee called and they were like, "Hey, this one thing,
I'll be there.
I
in
don't
2
quite
minutes.
understand that.
Yeah.
I'll just be there in a minute." We're instead now we are more of like, okay, we try to instruct them, see if they can get it on themselves. And so that's been kind of nice about moving away, but we get that
You know,
completely
the
because
4 hours, the 4 hours that you're not there and you're not directly in front of them, no, like, there's gonna
Man,
be
it's
something's
like
gonna
when
happen
the grown-ups
during
Yeah.
that
are
time.
away.
Yeah,
the kids are
exactly.
always at
Yeah,
play. Like
yeah.
it's just
Something
Yeah.
always
The
happens.
house
It's like,
burns
something
down.
about it. Yeah.
you turn around and
burns
walk
Something
out.
about it.
Hey, this has happened. I
I
literally
was
just
literally
there.
there.
Yeah.
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 How did
I'm at the
how
stop
did it go
sign.
wrong
I
within the
know.
next
I know.
5
It's-
minutes? I'm like,
I mean,
how
like
did that
Abby,
happen?
I think Abby handles it very well.
Yeah.
Um,
It's probably got to be stressful.
she
to
handles it
being
very well,
married to a
not
farmer.
growing up around it.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
that's when we was dating. It was a huge shift for her.
Adjustment.
Yeah, but even like when we were dating and engaged, she was always riding with me or something like that. Well, now
Yeah.
the kids are there. The kids
That's
are
so
here,
cute.
and it's
Yeah, so you got to be split in two
and
places.
and every once in a while we will cram all four or all five of us now in a tractor, and it's extremely
I'm
uncomfortable.
sure that's a
You
party.
can't get nothing done. You're crawling over. I'm crawling over the kids and her trying to get out to
It's
fix
not
something.
as fun. Yeah.
It's not and we've had that conversation. It's not enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a whole lot more enjoyable to come drop one or two of them off,
Mhm.
and you know,
But then that means like you guys are spending more time apart too. I mean,
yeah.
I think that comes with just having kids. It's no longer just you two as a team. You
Yeah.
start to have to realize somebody's got to be on this kid all the time. Now with 3, I'm sure it's even more
yeah, that's
extreme.
we're learning that communication is key, and my wife will tell you I'm
absolutely.
the absolute best at communicating.
Oh, I mean, I'm positive. I call it right now. Those would be her exact words. I've known you guys since you guys like. Obviously, I've hung out with you guys since you guys started dating, and
Mhm.
I'm positive that's the exact thing she would
Yeah,
say.
yeah, she would agree with me on
She's
that
a
one.
patient woman. I love
Yeah.
Abby.
She,
She's great.
I
mean,
don't
I
like.
think it's a man thing though, because like when we first started dating, I was like, talk, just talk,
Well,
talk
like-
to me, talk
I'm like, I
about
don't know
it,
what to talk
reach out
about,
to me,
like,
anything.
Yeah.
And
We
Griff's
talk all
like,
day.
okay, I
Well,
guess.
that's, yeah, like we had some friends over for the Buckeyes game, and they're like, they said my phone was sitting open, and Austin's like, you have 2,000 unread text messages. I'm like, yeah, and he's like, and you have an unread text message from your wife. When's the last time? When was that text from? I was like, I don't know, probably 4 days ago.
Mhm.
He's like, you guys don't talk during the day. I'm like, if we need each other, we call each other. But
Yeah.
Well,
like,
especially when you work together.
Absolutely.
yeah. I'm
like-
like, or I walk in the office
Oh
and
my
I talk to her.
gosh.
For
Yeah,
a
like I
second.
was just I'd be like,
There's
hey,
times where I'm
2
like,
seconds. I was
find
like, I
somewhere
need
to be.
boom, 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 boom. I gotta go. I got Candy about to come down the line.
Yeah,
So I'm like
yeah.
immediately like walk in. She's like, is it? Now she goes, is this important? I'm like, I don't know. I just say it to her
Yeah.
and I walk back out.
Yeah.
Kiss on the cheek
He'll be
and
like,
walk
"Can I
out.
borrow you?" And I'm like, "I'm in the middle of books right now. Like, I don't need to be
Yeah.
pulled away." And he'll be like, "I've got 2 seconds before this candy's coming down the
Yeah.
line." And I'm like,
yeah.
so I get up begrudgingly, and then I'm like, "This could have been an email."
Well, I'm like, it's, yeah, I mean, it's me. Like, I'll walk in the office and Abby's got Lainey and Olivia in the office with her every day. And Clayton's at
Mm.
school. So,
yeah,
you know, I'll walk in and I'll see Olivia for a few minutes or, you know, hold Lainey for a second, give Abby a kiss on the cheek and right back out the door.
yeah,
Or I'll walk in the office to get lunch or sit down
Mhm.
and eat lunch with the kids or something like that. You know, if I'm working at the farm. Now,
Mhm.
when we're in the field, that's a different story.
Right.
yeah.
But, you know, I think Abby handles it probably better than I do because she puts more effort into spending time together than I do.
I think it's just a balance in marriage. Like, she knows what she signed up for, type of thing, and she accepts that.
She knew what she was getting herself into with me.
And I think like Griffin and I are kind of the same way. Like, he knew Arnold's would be rough, and even
Yeah.
coming on, I was like, it's a change, Griff.
Oh,
And
no, yeah. It's
and
like,
I knew he wasn't fully grasping mentally what it would be like. And then when he came on, and I just was like, you just gotta truck through with me
Yeah,
on
you
this.
gotta
Like,
bear through it.
the adjustment of having a 4-month-old, owning a business, being married to your business partner is like, whoa. Like, whoa.
I will give you guys that. Like, I don't know. Like, obviously, Abby is my business partner, but
on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
it's hard.
I don't know if I could do an actual like real consumer product like what you guys are doing and be married to it. Like, be married to my business. Like, I
think it's
I don't
just
think it would end
good
well.
It takes effort.
communication. It
I'm
takes
too
really
stubborn.
good effort
Oh,
and boundaries
Yeah.
for sure.
not me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
have
not.
you met this
Yeah,
guy? Like,
I'm very much my dad's kid. It's this way or the
My way or the
highway.
highway,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know we talked about before with other guests, Rachel, when it gets in like competitive or like stubbornness.
Yeah.
There's been many
Griffin
times where me
all
and Caleb
day.
are in each other's face, just saying
Yeah.
saying
Basketball days, I'm
everything
sure.
under the
Yes.
sun at each other, and then 2 hours later, we're just joking and laughing. It's all
That's
just
the
the
one
wayside.
thing
Sending
I'll
memes to each
never
other.
understand is like Griff and I will get into a spiff and then like 30 seconds later he'll walk in the room and he'll be like, so do you want to go grab some coffee? I'm really hungry. And I'm like, no, I hate you right now. Go away.
I'm like, it's done and over.
I'm holding
We're
a
past
grudge.
this.
Yeah, I mean that's. I'm like
interesting,
that
but
too.
it's
Like
so much
Abby and I'll
fun.
get into it, and next thing I know,
Mhm.
she's in the kitchen. I'm walking by, smacking her butt, and
Right.
Mhm.
You kind
You know.
of you
You
kind of
move
forget
on.
what just happened.
That's
You're
probably
like,
just marriage.
and
in
then
general,
she's mad at me
honestly.
again over
Right.
that. So
you're not gonna say anything. I'm like, what did I do?
yeah, I didn't say nothing.
I'm like, I want to hear a real apology. Like, I want to hear that you care about my
Mm.
feelings.
Like,
Even though
I'm
I know
sorry.
he does.
Like,
He
and
just
that's
don't think about
I
it.
am not a like. I don't know. I
I've
don't know
made
if it's
Griffin.
just I can't. I don't know how to say stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Gotta crack that
it-
hard outside shell. a
yeah,
little.
Abby, that I think that is probably like we'll spend time together, but like
Trying to get that sentimental
yeah,
conversation.
she's good at it. I'm not. I'm good at sometimes listening.
Mm.
So not all the time
For
listening, but
Griff,
sometimes.
I've realized like I'll talk to him and it won't always be immediately received, but I know he thinks about it. Like I know even
Yeah.
if he's immediately not necessarily that you're defensive all the time, but
Wow.
like if he's defensive, if it could be anything like about
No,
taking
here
the
it is,
trash
right
out or
now.
the dishes.
Here we go. Dish it out. Here, let's
Lay it
clear
on
the
the
table.
Something
I just
simple.
wipe up.
No, but like it could be like, can you take the trash out more? And he's like, I take it out enough or something,
Yeah.
you know? But then I know he thinks about it and I know that he does do it more and like he tries to correct behaviors and stuff. He's good about it.
That's what
but
Abby will give me
I
the
get
hey, the
that.
garage needs cleaned. Like, we got too much junk in the garage.
I've
or-
asked
Yeah.
20 times.
And then it's like it'll finally just like hit me one day, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna go clean the garage." And like I'll spend 2 days
Yeah.
cleaning that garage out,
Mhm.
making it nice.
Yeah. I know he
And
thinks
then
about it.
a week
yeah.
later, it's a mess again. So.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, why did I just spend
I think
it
that's
in
the real
watching
purpose of a garage. Like we clean the garage a lot and I feel
Yeah.
like it still always ends up.
And our dog's in it and everything else.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
yeah, it's
It's a party.
always fun.
Well, honestly, I loved chatting with you. Like
man.
we've
Yeah,
missed
this
you.
was-
Like we could go for hours,
Oh,
but
yeah.
for the
Oh,
sake
yeah.
of people watching, we'll cut it and then we'll just chat after this. But
Well, cut and
thank
keep it
you,
PG,
Caleb, for
Yep.
coming up here. Like
Thanks
I
for
know
having me.
it's taking time out of just busy life,
It's
man.
better than freezing.
Yeah, you're like I'd rather be in here than out there plowing and doing all that
Yeah.
work too. So,
Absolutely.
It's cold out.
but yeah,
so.
we'll have to get Abby on next.
We should probably
gonna
should
call
do that.
her
I
up,
should
then we'll
probably
get her
not be
side.
here for that one. I should probably let her just kind of
Let her spill the
Yeah,
actual.
let
Yeah,
her-
let her lay it on the table, get it all out.
Yeah.
We'll
Sometimes
do one
it's-
without the boys, just me and Abby,
Oh,
just chit chatting, talking
be-
about the wives.
I
you
mean,
better book a whole day.
Right.
Yeah, we'll go all
There's
day.
enough there. Trust me.
Can I just say, you don't know this, I'm sure, but like she's like one of the only people I've got like the longest snap streak with.
Yeah,
I
don't
never
even
really
know
was
mine
into
is.
Snapchat, but like Nicole got me into like doing this daily snap streak, and somehow Abby and I started it, and now we're like hundreds of days in, and I'm like,
Yeah,
now we
I think-
can't stop.
I think Abby and I we'll go through. We'll get up to like 80, and then like I'll get busy and I'll forget to snap her, and then like
Yeah, Griff don't even have Snapchat.
No,
I
have
I
one-
don't have anything, dude. It's
I
like
have
I
one
get on
buddy.
TikTok maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and that's the only social media I have.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't
I'm like
have
an old man,
Facebook
dude. I'm in the
anymore.
dark.
Yeah.
There's
I-
people who are
I
like,
love it.
Griff, don't talk to me on Facebook, or like he hasn't
he don't
commented, or
get
did
on
you
it.
see my post? And I'm like, he don't have it. Like
I
he's
don't.
not looking.
I love it,
He doesn't
dude.
pay attention. It's
Yeah,
just there, but he's a ghost.
Honestly, like I have thought so many times, like just finding a flip phone and going back to a flip phone.
I probably could. I wouldn't.
If
lose
I
much.
could, I would, but I got a business.
Well,
so
and
I
that's what like
can't.
I have so much stuff. Like I've
Yeah.
got John Deere Operations Center. I've
Yeah,
got
there's
my
times where I'm taking
QuickBooks,
pictures
I've
of
got,
machines and sending them.
Oh, yeah,
and stuff.
I mean,
it's like flip
that's-
phones can't do that.
Yeah, like my photo album is either something on dead animal or it's
Yeah.
parts or
I
part
can only imagine
numbers
how many
or-
pictures you have, considering you have 2,000 unopened
He's
text
like-
messages. Like I'm not kidding you.
He's like, let me get through
We've
my
seen
45
it,
missed calls in this
2,000.
real quick.
I don't. Does it tell you how many photos you have?
It should in the
I don't
main
know.
album or whatever. You open it up, or if you look at.
Mine are just mostly of my son. So
I don't know. If it
Mhm.
tells you.
that's it.
Mhm. Yeah. If I wasn't afraid of looking at like a absolutely blasted coyote, I could point you in the
yeah,
right direction.
that is definitely on my
I think you
phone.
posted to Snapchat one day, and I was
Yep.
like, "Good Lord, Caleb, warn a girl
I have
first."
over like 9,700 photos.
That's crazy. I think I'm at least in the 5,000 or 6,000 because of Grayson. You probably have like 500.
Yeah.
Griffey
I'm-
don't take
yeah,
no pictures
I
unless we're traveling, and that's it.
Yeah, like
So.
most
I'm
of
like
my
the old
most
lady.
of my
Have like my
photo
fingers in it.
albums.
I'm like,
Yeah, I'm
Most
like,
of
can you take a picture of me? I'm like, what is this? Like,
Yeah,
what
I-
is this?
I don't get it.
oh, like a lot of mine too is like I got into photography for a while and stuff. So a lot of it is like
Yeah.
pictures I've taken and haven't edited yet,
And
or
you just want to keep them.
yeah.
Makes
I mean, there's
sense.
stuff for myself.
You got some good TikToks out there too. Like, I feel like y'all got some quality stuff. Shout out
Yeah,
to.
say before we go, make sure you plug.
Oh yeah, you want to plug
Yeah,
anything?
plug all your
before we go?
stuff.
I don't even know what my usernames and stuff is, or I know you can look up Young Family Farms on that logo on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I don't know what
All
else.
those things.
Yeah,
You got a
We'll throw them
website?
in the link description too on the
Face-
video. For
Facebook
YouTube.
has like our monthly sale items or weekly sale items on beef. Certain
Yeah.
stuff is on sale. Beef boxes, when we do those, are on sale.
Yeah, we'll shout
Giveaways
y'all
are all
out.
on Facebook.
We'll link everything for you guys since Caleb don't know his handles.
And coming up
That's my wife.
and coming up
yeah,
in August.
Abby's got all that.
Yeah.
Coming up in August, you guys have
Our open house
There we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
at the farm.
Yeah, August 15th.
Hog roast.
August 15th,
food.
right?
Yes,
Happy birthday
2025.
or something. Yeah.
I think it's a Saturday.
It
Yeah.
seemed so awesome last
That's
year.
yeah,
I
well,
We had a
last year we were,
lot
out
of
of, we were,
we
we were
had-
out of town for it, but this year we're definitely gonna make.
We
sure
had a
we're there.
lot of people come through. It was a good time. It was, a
Yeah.
lot of it is customers of the farm,
Mhm.
whether it's feed, beef, hogs, whatever. But then we just had neighbors show up, like people we'd never
Yeah.
met.
Yeah.
That were like, hey, we drive by every day. We see this.
Yeah.
Sweet, go grab a plate.
You'll
and
see
have a
us
good time.
there. I
hope
will get
so.
some food.
Right.
Get some food.
hope
some
so.
good times. Like, we miss you guys. Like, life is crazy when you got 3
Yeah.
kids and a farm and a business and a 1-year-old. Like,
Yeah,
so I just love that you were able to come up, hang out with
Oh,
us,
absolutely,
chit
man.
chat.
I almost drove the wife's new minivan.
roll up in the minivan.
The new whip.
Oh, probably would have
man.
been more comfortable in my truck.
Yeah. Well, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you so much, Caleb, for
Yep.
joining us this time. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. That's a wrap.